All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to round 4 of the Sigma GT Challenge. Tonight, we've got our drivers taking on Spa in the rain after a major physics update. Basically driving a whole new game here tonight, everybody. First up, we've got our AM drivers. We got 8 of them representing tonight. Let's go ahead, run down the field, see who we've got running in a rainy Belgian Grand Prix tonight. We've got Mr. Orfano sitting out here in front, leading the pack in his outlap as everyone starts qualifying here. We've got Chip Reese following right behind. We've got Rick James coming out representing in the Mercedes. We've got VPR Marv joining us this evening. Looks like driving 911 there. Jesse Salas also driving the 911 coming back. We got Tom the Tech, leader of the AM Championship right now. Sitting down here, our 6th position for qualifier right now in the Mustang. We've got Skirb running a little wide there. He manages to hold on to that spicy Beetle. And then following up our grid tonight, we've got Ridge Raider representing Flying Fox Racing and that McLaren 650S there. While we wait for the drivers to go ahead and finish up their outlaps, let's go ahead and have a look at Tom the Tech out in front, 75 points. Ridge Raider Jesse Salas tied with 52 apiece. Rounding out the top 5, we got Rocket Man and Sniper, 49, 39 points respectively. I'm sure everybody had a good chance to read that while I was talking to absolutely nobody here. Let's go ahead, let's hop back on track as these drivers are getting ready to start their hot laps now. We've got Orfano sitting out in front, already making his way up over Ruzy past Radion now as he gets ready to come up to the chicane. Chip Reese not far behind. Looks like we've got both Victory Pace Racing members driving pretty close to each other here. P2, P3 right now with their qualifying. Obviously no one running any hot laps yet. Just have to wait for Mr. Orfano to get through and see what kind of times we're going to be running here. We are going to have some rain here as well tonight. And unfortunately, Kaz, being the mysterious being that he is, it's just not very predictable with GT7 no matter how much I try to pick it up. Don't see any wipers moving on any of the cars, so no rain just yet through the qualifier. Everybody lucking out here so far. We stay on board with Orfano now. Hop in with Chip Reese following not too far behind there. Victory Pace Racing Sonic McLaren. Good looking livery that he's got there on that car. Marv not too far behind there. Go ahead, let's check in with Orfano. He's going to be the first one to finish his first hot lap here tonight. See what kind of time he's going to set down. They said earlier in the broadcast, we do have new physics, basically rendering it a new game here for a lot of these drivers. Many of these cars taking massive nerfs to a lot of their physics and power. So Orfano, first one to come through the bus stop here. He's going to be the first one to set his fast lap. Let's see what kind of time he's going to set down here. Orfano laying down 2:19.6. Chip Reese following not far behind. He's going to lay himself down 2:33.3. Marv catching up 2:20. That's going to move him up into second place. It's going to knock Chip down into third. Chip going to have to set himself another hot lap here. Let's see what kind of time Rick James is going to be setting. A 2:21.2 it looks like. It's going to be good enough for third place. Jesse moving himself up into fourth with a 21.6. Tom starting on the intermediates and not seeing any rain yet during the qualifiers. So more than likely going to be moving over onto the soft slicks for the rest of the qualifier. Good Skirb moving up into fifth. 2:24 flat. Ridge Raider 2:24.3. Not far behind. Rick James setting a 2:27.5. It's a little bit of a split between the drivers, though some of them starting on different tire compounds, obviously going to affect their lap times. 5 minutes gone in this qualifier. Drivers should be able to get another 2 or 3 laps, and possibly 3. I don't think they're going to have enough time here. Orfano leading the pack. 2:19.4. Only one to get into the 2:19s. He's got 2:21 from Marv and 2:21.6 from Chip Reese, both those drivers. And Jesse as well with 2:21.6. Great battle for second place that we've got going here. We got Skirb still sitting at the 2:24. All drivers getting ready to try to finish their second hop lap now. See if they can't adjust their positions at all. Sorry about that with the audio there. Had to adjust the microphone. Orfano getting ready to come up through the bus stop. Now he's going to be the first one to finish the second hot lap. Let's see if he's going to improve on his time at all here. In a 2:19.4 for his first hot lap. He is sitting on the pole right now. 2:19.8. Not able to go faster than his previous hot lap here. We've got Marv and Chip both coming over the line now. Marv going to be able to set his hot laps. He's going to be able to improve it at all. He set a 2:20.8, so able to hold on to that second place and increase his gap a little bit. Chip Reese running a 2:27, picking up a half-second penalty, unfortunately. So it's going to render this lap rather useless, unfortunately. Now we've got Skirb, we got Desert Marine coming across the line now. 2:20.8, it's going to move him up into third place. That knocks Marv down into fourth. We got Jesse still sitting in fifth place now, 2:20.8, improving on his time just a little bit. Chip Reese knocked down into sixth with that 2:21.6, still being the fast lap, picking up that half-second penalty on the previous one along there somewhere. We got Ridge Raider at a 2:22.8 and able to improve right now. We got Tom the Tech at 2:25.5, more likely his out lap coming out of the pits there. This one more likely going to be his hot lap now that he's going to try and set. So we'll see if he's able to knock Orfano off of the pole there. Ridge Raider popping into the pits, probably going to try to pick up a fresh set of shoes and set one more hot lap before qualifying ends. Rick James at 2:20.7, good enough for second place now. Able to find a little bit more pace in that Mercedes. Chip Reese going to be serving that penalty here shortly. He is going to be running out of a little bit of time, though, to be able to set another hot lap. I think he's going to have enough time to get across the line and start it, though. We do have plenty of time for drivers to finish another flying lap. If they do start right at the end of qualifying, let everybody get their fair shot here. Skirb sitting down in third, still with that 2:20.8. Got Marv still sitting in fourth, 2:20.8 as well. Just hundredths of a second off of Brooks there. Jesse Salas also thousandths of a second behind off of Marv. Still a close battle between these three drivers right now. Checking with Tom the Tech. Tom picking up a half-second penalty. He's going to have to try to get through the rest of the course and start himself a new lap on time. Otherwise, he is going to have to start from the back of the field, unfortunately, due to that qualifying. He might be able to find a little bit more pace there and be able to pick it up through the penalty, but that's going to be a hell of a lap he's going to have had to set to knock anyone down off the time, having to serve that penalty. Let's stay on board with him here, see what kind of times he's been setting through. So through the penalty line, serves this half second, back on the skinny pedal trying to get past. He's not going to have enough time. We've only got 10 seconds left in the qualifier now. This is going to be his shot at it. Heavy on the anchors coming through the bus stop now. What kind of time is Tom going to set in the Flying Fox Mustang? Going to improve on his 25. Tom Tech up into third. 2:20.442 even with the penalty. Absolute flying lap there. Brooks moving up into second. Dips down into the 19s, 2:19.6. He does go purple here, unfortunately, with a half-second penalty. Not going to be doing himself any favors. We've got Jesse off into the grass there. Let's see if we can see his off now that we have replays. And Jesse going purple up into the chicane, just a little bit too late on the brakes. Catches a little bit of curb there, it looks like. And slides off, unfortunately, there. We got Orfano with an 18.2. And a second and a half ahead. He's still on a flyer himself, but he is nearly a second down off of his fastest time. Comfortably, though, on the pole for now. for 2:18.215. We got Brooks, who was going purple. Is going to have to serve that half-second penalty, unfortunately. He's probably not going to be able to take the fast lap away from Orfano here. But still sitting out in second place. Tom, having finished his qualifying now, not going to be able to knock him off of that P2. We'll stay on board with Brooks here, so he's getting ready to serve his penalty. Brooks through the penalty line now. Flat out through Blanchimont as it comes up to the chicane now. So Marv, though, moving up with a 2:19.4 knocks Brooks down into third and Tom down into fourth. With Brooks serving his penalty, not sure if he's going to be able to move past that 2:19.6, and he doesn't, unfortunately, a 2:21.446. Marv, second place with a 2:19.4. You got Orfano out in first now, 2:18.2, the only driver to dip into the 18s on the qualifier here. Tom Attack down in fourth in the Flying Fox Mustang with a 2:20.4. Jesse in fifth, 2:20.6. Rick James unable to see the time due to him being in the pits, but faster than Chip Reese with his 2:21.6, good enough for seventh. And Ridge Raider picking up P8 now, sitting in the pits. Just waiting for the qualifier to finish. We'll take a 2-minute break and then we will get the race underway, everybody. Those of you just tuning in, we're going to go ahead and check out the standings one more time while we wait for the qualifier to end. And then we will go to break and get the race going shortly afterwards. Everyone stay tuned. If you haven't hit that follow button, what are you doing? Hit that follow button. We got a follower goal to hit for April, everybody. Ms. 2 Nas Fox, thank you for your follows today. We appreciate you. We'll be right back, everyone. see, I think we've got audio back now. At least it looks like it, and that's what we're going to keep going with. Orfano under pressure from Tom. Drivers coming off the camera straight now, coming through the chicane. Tom right on the bumper of Orfano. Orfano still sitting out in front. Tom down in second place. We've got Marv chomping behind both of them, watching the battle unfold right now. Sitting in a third place. He's got a 1.5-second gap behind him now to Rick James. Rick also watching the battles unfold. And we've got Brooks right behind in 5th place. Chip Reese also making his way up here to join the fray now. We've only got 4.5 seconds separated between top 6 drivers right now. We can see Ridge Raider coming into shot now. Also trying to make his way up. A little bit of that off earlier, coming through this very corner on his previous lap. Able to hold on though. Still going to be within this fight. Almost going a little bit wide again there, riding the curb. Holds on to that McLaren though. Knocks that 5-second gap down into 4.5 seconds. And lowering it even further. Excuse me, everybody. Checking in with the back of the field. We got Lucky Alpha sitting in 8th place. We got Jesse in 9th. Both of these drivers within a second or two of each other now. We're going to have a battle here for P8 shortly. And we've got the chat saying the video is lagging behind the sound. So sorry here, folks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to deactivate. Reactivate everything here, so hopefully sound is a little bit more on with everything going on as we've got Orfano crossing over on his second lap, starting his third, still out in front. 2.5 separating him and Tom Attack. Tom down in 2nd place. Comfortable gap between him and Marv as drivers start settling in now for the rest of this race. We got another 55 minutes to go. Thank you, chat, for the heads up, letting me know that the audio is working beautifully. Welcome, WRX, into the chat. Glad to have you here. We got all kinds of cheers coming from chat. I love to see it, everybody. Thank you for that. Love having everybody involved in the races here. Orfano still out in front. Tom the Tech dropping behind a little bit. Soft tire starting to give way. 2 seconds now ahead, though, of Marv, who's sitting down in 3rd. Rick James in 4th. Still has Brooks right on the bumper here. Brooks staying on the bumper of Rick James throughout most of the race, picking up a lot of slipstream, trying to save probably a little bit of fuel there. And it's definitely working out for him. He's now got a 4-second gap ahead of himself to Chip Reese. Chip running his own race right now with 4-second gap himself to Ridge Raider. And we've still got Lucky and Jesse down here at the back of the pack having themselves a little battle now. Jesse not letting Lucky get too far away. And Lucky going purple now. Lucky sitting here on track for a fast lap. So Lucky coming through Brazil now up to the double gauche. Increasing that gap a little bit though to Jesse. Jesse falling back a little bit now, over 2 seconds separating these drivers. And Lucky picking up a little bit of time to Ridge Raider, knocking a couple seconds down between his delta. Ridge Raider still sitting in a P7. We got Chip Reese down in P6 still. And Rick has had an off. Let's see if we can see the replay of what happened here. So Rick James getting a little squirrely coming through the corner there, catching a little bit of curb and dirty tires. Spinning the car, unfortunately, catching front end damage. Not doing himself any favors, hitting the barrier again. Fortunately, though, only 6 seconds into the race. I'm sorry, 6 minutes into the race, he still has time to pick up some positions and make up some pace here. We are running light damage in this series. Only has to deal with it for just a little bit. So Rick James' damage already disappeared off the car. He can go ahead and reset himself, start setting some good laps now. That's right, Zester, plenty of time left in this race. Still heading up the field. Ridge Raider moving himself up into P6. Chip Reese moving up into P5, and we got Mr. Brooks coming through Radion. Moving up into P4, we got Marv still sitting in comfortable P3. And now Brooks on the attack. Starting to make up a little bit of time now. Having a little bit of a look at P3, less than a second separating these two drivers. And Marv going purple by almost 2/10. A lot of drivers going purple as they come up the Kemmel straight through the cone. We'll stay on board with Marv here. Marv going purple through the first sector. Let's see if he's going to be able to hold on to that. Capitalize, go purple on his second sector here. Marv. Rear Bruzel up to the double gauche. Second sector still a few corners away yet. He is starting to pick up a little time, using every bit of curb he can find there as he comes through the double gauche corners now, through up to La Fang. Marv getting ready to cross that sector line. Let's see if he's going to go purple. Orfano sitting with the fast lap right now, 2:19.6. That no doubt will change by the end of the race. So not able to go purple, but is capitalizing on a good lap time, going over a half second faster than his personal best so far. So well done to Marv. Brooks falling behind just a little bit. That less than a second gap now increasing to a second and a half, but nearly 8 seconds separating him and Chip Reese. He is holding on to a comfortable P4 for right now. Unsure why that refuel bug keeps popping up, but I guess it's something we're just going to have to persevere through, chat, because every time I reset, it throws the audio off. If it gets too annoying for you, let me know and we'll do it anyway. Chip Reese still sitting down in 5th. We got Ridge Raider in 6th. Rick James trying to pick up some time and pace as he has Ridge Raider in his sights now after his unfortunate off on his previous lap. Jesse finding a little bit of time over Lucky here. Lucky down in P9, 7 seconds separating the drivers. Yeah, that rotary screaming through his Mazda concept race car, getting a little squirrely there. Snipe Dog informed me it's a bug in the replay since the update, and if it's something I'm just going to have to deal with, then it's something I'm just going to have to deal with. So thank you for that, partner. I appreciate it. Lucky coming through the bus stop now, getting across the line and start a new lap here. 49 minutes left in this race. Still got Orfano sitting out in front, 2 second gap separating him and Tom. Tom running a 2:19.8, not able to get that fast lap yet away from Orfano, almost going a little squirrely there. Still holding on to that P2, got a 2.7 second gap separating him and Marv. And Brooks dropping down 10 seconds now, under attack from Chip Reese. Let's see if we can see what happened to him here. Unfortunately, no. A little bit of contact. Chip Reese trying to find a little bit of room along the inside. Isn't able to find it, though. So Skirb having a little bit of an issue there previously in the lap. Unable to see it. Losing quite a bit of time there. 10 seconds now separating him and Marv when he was just a second and a half the last time we checked in. Brooks taking all the curb he can through the double gauge. Chip Reese hot on his tail in the Sonic McLaren there. Less than a second separating these drivers. 6/10 in fact. Chip Reese starting to put Brooks under pressure. Marv still sitting in a P3. We've got Tom out in P2. And Snipe still sitting out in a P1. Mr. Orfano to everybody else here. Zester, you could not be more correct. The replays are just choice. And the fact they have the Gran Turismo transition and it's not just some hard cut. They really thought about us on this one with this update. We're really happy with that one. Orfano crossing the line, still sitting at P1. New fast lap, dipping down to those 2:18s, running a 2:18.8. We got Tom the Tech still sitting at 2:19.8 as his fast lap time. Comfortable P2, increasing that gap between him and Marv now, 3.5 seconds separating them. Marv down in P3. Brooks still under pressure from Chip Reese, it looks like, but still able to hold on to that P4, doing a little bit of defending there. Both drivers keeping it tight and clean through the hairpin as they get ready to come up to Eau Rouge now. Chip Reese falling back just a little bit, giving Brooks a little bit of room. Doesn't want to pick up too much dirty air. Go too wide, pick up a penalty as they get ready to come up through Radium. Speaking of, Brooks almost cutting the corners a little bit too much. Is Gran Turismo going to punish him? Oh, half-second penalty for Brooks. Brooks trying to hold on and keep it on the curb and going purple, in fact, too, by 3/10, coming through the Kemble straight up to the chicane, but that half-second penalty costing him not only the fast lap, but probably going to cost him P4 now as well. And Chip Reese sitting back, waiting for him to serve that penalty. Should be able to make it by pretty easily here later on in the lap. Rick James making his way up into P6. Let's go ahead and take advantage of the replay here, see if we can see a move happen there. Unfortunately not. Still sitting in P6 on our max replay time there. Does manage to get ahead of Ridge Raider though. Ridge not far behind though. 1.2 seconds separating. Still fight for Ridge Raider, trying to take P6 back away from Rick James. Rick James starting to put in some lap times, make up some positions after his off, dropping down into P8 unfortunately. Let's move back up to P6. You got Ridge Raider not far behind, like I said, in P7 flying in the Flying Fox McLaren there. You got Jesse sitting in a comfortable P8 for right now, and Lucky sitting in a P9. We got 2:31 on lap 4 there, so a little bit of an incident, unfortunately, losing a bit of time. 14 minutes gone in this race. Still got 46 minutes left to go here, though, so plenty left to happen. Still haven't seen too much rain yet, as we got a dry track. Hopefully that changes here soon. Unfortunately, Gran Turismo is being finicky and very random. Just cannot completely predict the rain, as we said earlier. It looks like all drivers running on the soft tires to start with for now. And that's why we're seeing these lap times dropping to the 18s and 19s. Alfano finding quite a bit of pace over Tom the Tech. Tom 3.5 seconds behind now, losing a little bit of time to Marv. And Tom the Tech sitting in second place. Marv picking up P3 now. Still got a 11-second gap separating him and Brooks. Brooks managing to find a little bit of time now, losing that pressure from Chip Reese. Chip falling back just a little bit there. 4 seconds separating him and Brooks now. Also nearly 4 seconds separating him and Rick James. Rick James still sitting in P6. Has Chip Reese in his crosshairs though. There's plenty of time left in this race. We will see a battle for P5. Tires halfway worn, fuel halfway gone. Pits are going to start happening here within the next 5 or 10 minutes, I would predict. Ridge Raider still sitting down in P7. We got Jesse out in P8. Lucky sitting down in P9 now. Is managing to find some pace in the Mazda concept there. Dropping that gap a couple seconds since the last time we checked in with him. Go ahead and check back in with the rest of the field now. Orfano still increasing that gap over Tom the Tech. That Spicy Beetle pulling a 5.5 second gap over the Mustang now. And Tom losing a little bit of time to Marv. Marv starting to put the pressure onto Tom. Less than a second separating him. We have the Canadian picking up the slipstream here, coming through the straight. Drivers coming around Blanchimont now as they get ready to come up to the bus stop. Tom still sitting out in P2, hard on the anchors. Just see a little bit of mist in the background. Hopefully that does indicate a little bit of rain on the way here. Still no action from the wipers on anybody, it looks like. Marv dropping back just a little bit over a second now, separating him. But Marv not able to find the same kind of speed through the hairpin there that Tom was. Tom getting a little bit of breathing room. Both drivers coming up to Eau Rouge now. Tom thankful for that 1.5-second gap that he's got between them now. Running a little wide there. I did see tires go over the white lines. Gran Turismo going to punish him and give him a 0.5-second penalty for that one. Looks like Tom going to escape the wrath of Kaz, not going to incur a penalty. Marv going to have to put the skinny pedal down if he wants to try to attack and take P2 away from Tom the Tech. Tom barely holding on there. Doesn't incur a penalty though. We are going to have a battle now. Marv is dropping that gap now, less than a second separating these drivers. Marv getting a little bit of attention from the peanut gallery now. Like I said, we love to see the engagement from everybody. Thank you for that one. So Marv still holding on to that P3, not letting Tom the Tech get away too far. He's going to pick up some dirty air though here. So Marv dropping back just a little bit through the double gauge, unfortunately. We'll check back in with him in just a few seconds. So we got Brooks still sitting in P4, 10 seconds separating him and Chip Reese. Comfortable P4 for Brooks right now. We got Chip Reese sitting down in P5 as he comes through the double gauche now, 2.5 seconds separating him and Rick James. Rick James still trying to put the hammer down and pick up some positions after his off earlier in the race. Ridge Raider still sitting in a P7. We got Jesse down in P8. And Lucky rounding out our grid in P9. 220.9, setting a fast lap for himself. Quality lap from Lucky there. And Lucky, excellent tire management as well. Unfortunately, you guys can't see it. A little squirrely there coming through the double gauge corners. Holds on to that Mazda very well, though. Tires just about a quarter of the way worn. Everybody else's tires doing just a little bit worse now. It looks like Orfano, 6.5 seconds separating him and Marv. Tom, first one to dive into the pits. He's gonna go ahead and change himself out some tires, get some fuel. It looks like gives Brooks opportunity to move up into P3. Chip getting himself a cut, moving up P4. James getting a cut, moving up in P5. Ridge Raider should have enough time here, move up into P6. Same with Jesse. Jesse moving up into P7 as Tom sits in the pits. First one to dive in, hopefully to get himself an undercut here as everybody else pits a little bit later on in the race. Tom moving over to the intermediate tire. That means only one thing, everybody. It's gonna rain. It's rain on the way. Tom trying to get ahead of the pack, putting on those intermediate tires. You got Orfano still sitting on the soft tires. Track is still dry though. So not seeing any rain indication just yet. 6.5 seconds still separating him and Marv. We got Marv down in P2. Brooks sitting down in P3, getting a little squirrely through the corner there. Holds on to a spicy Beetle. Brooks getting that cut over Tom earlier, making his way up a position in P3. Got Chip Reese also doing the same into P4. You got Rick James now dropping that gap, less than 2 seconds separating him and Chip Reese. Rick James going on an absolute tear through the field, trying to make up positions. God, that Haltech Mercedes has a great noise to it, doesn't it, everybody? Let's hop on board and just have a little listen to that for a few minutes. 2 seconds still separating him and Chip Reese. Rick James not letting Chip out of his sight. 1.7 seconds now. Really putting the hammer down. Oh, a little squirrely though. Commentator's curse kicking in. God, Rick James losing everything that he had made up to that lap. Now a second off of what he just was. That slide cost him. Unfortunately, Rick James gonna have to settle the car, reset, and try again here. Well, Christopher Wagon, try again. Let's see if he pits. Ridge Raider sitting down in a P6 for now. Jesse in a P7. We got Tom in a P8. Running on those intermediate tires until it rains, track gets wet. He is gonna start losing a little bit of pace though, unfortunately. It is looking a little misty out there, isn't it, everybody? We'll have to see if Tom had the big brain move here, making his way onto the intermediates early. This doesn't look like anybody else is diving into the pits yet. Just got Orfano still sitting out in front, less than a quarter of a tank of fuel, soft tires halfway worn down. 7.8 seconds separating him and Marv. We've got Skirb and the Spicy Beetle sitting in P3, 12.9 seconds separating him and Chip Reese. Chip Reese representing a VPR Racing in a Sonic McLaren. 3 seconds separating him and Rick James. James sitting in a P5 now. Not letting Chip Reese get too far ahead. Unfortunate little wiggle he had as he got ready to come up onto Blushemont earlier, costing him a little bit of time. 3.6 seconds though, still separating. He still has Chip Reese within sight, still within a fighting chance here. We still have plenty of time left in this race. Over 37 minutes left to go here. In a cold, rainy, misty Belgium. Chip Reese sitting in P4. We've got Skirb sitting up here. Brooks, P3. 6 seconds separating him and Marv. Looks like Brooks just settling into race pace here, setting himself 2:19s, 2:20s, though. Brooks taking the fast lap for the race so far with a 2:18.5. Well done to him. Fuel light is shouting at him, though. He is going to have to go pit here soon. Let's see if he's going to risk it for one more lap here. Brooks coming on the Blajamon now. Hard on the accelerator. Still no sign of the rain. Tom definitely saw something on radar if he decided to move over to the intermediates early. And Brooks sitting there with the hazards on. Brooks getting a little bit of love from the crowd here. We love to see it for everybody. And Brooks going to go ahead and play it safe. He's going to dive into the pits. Marv also jumping into the pits here, it looks like. That's going to give Orfano a chance to really increase his lead here. See if that's going to pay dividends to him here in a little bit when he inevitably has to go into the pits in the next lap or two. Chippery's going to go ahead and get himself a cut over both Brooks and Marv, move himself up into P2. James making his way through the field up into P3 now. Though with only 1/8 of a tank of fuel, he's only going to have a lap or two left before he's going to have to inevitably dive into the pits, change out fuel and tires. Brooks here picking up full tank of fuel, same with Marv. Jesse also diving into the pits. Tom coming through Blajamon now. Tom on the racing softs. Not sure if he pitted again or if he started on intermediates and decided to move over to the softs here. Lucky picking up half-second penalty down, P9. Lucky going to go ahead and serve that penalty now as he comes around Blajamon now. Lucky P9, Jesse sitting in P8, coming out of the pits, fresh set of soft tires it would seem. And Tom getting himself a cut, making himself up into P7 now. So Tom taking the position away from Jesse as he comes through Eau Rouge up Radion. Down the Kemmel Straight, trying to increase that gap to Jesse. Jesse just coming out of the pits, not able to capitalize on a cut. That going to Tom. And that gap increasing now, 2 seconds. And growing here as we speak, 2.1, 2.3. Jesse, a little bit slower through the chicane there, though. Let's get back onto the skinny pedal. Jesse, fresh fuel and tires, same with Tom. Both these drivers here can have a battle for P7 shortly. Snipes dives into the pits, finally. And Chip Reese and Rick James coming through Blajamon now. Both of these drivers should have an opportunity for a cut on Orfano and take P1 away from him. Chip Reese, though, fuel light shouting at him. He is going to have to go into the pits, and there he goes. Chip Reese going into the pits, not going to be able to take advantage of the cut. Same with Rick James. James also with the fuel light shouting at him. Ridge Raider also no fuel in that Flying Fox McLaren. He dives into the pits. So VPR Marv getting an undercut on 4 drivers here. The Canadian making his way up from P5 to P1. One fell swoop. Orfano coming out of the pits now. Is Orfano going to be able to stay ahead? Orfano is ahead, it looks like. So we got Marv just now coming around the hairpin. Orfano still sitting ahead of Marv now. Marv 9 seconds either side of him. Sitting in P2. We got Brooks coming out of the pits now, sitting in P3. Let's see where Tom's at in relation to all this. Tom getting a cut on a Ridge. Chip Reese coming out of the pits. Tom not able to get a cut on him or Rick James. So Tom going to make his way up into P6. Ridge Raider dropping down into P7, unfortunately. See where Jesse's at and everything here. The Ridge coming out of the pits. He's going to be able to hold on to his P7. We can see him just in the back of the shot there coming out of the pits. Jesse still holding on P8. Lucky down in P9, still rounding out our grid. Still no sign of the rain here in the AM lobby. Super unfortunate. Still quite a bit of race to go, so anything can happen. We've got Orfano sitting out in P1, 8.3 seconds ahead of Marv, dropping into P2, and the Spicy Beetle there ahead of Brooks on his own Spicy Beetle in P3 with an 11-second gap separating him and Chip Reese in the VPR McLaren. We've got Rick James making his way up P5, and Tom the Tech not far behind there in P6. So all drivers fresh through the pits, picking up a new set of shoes, filling up their tanks. Maybe trying for a one-stop here. Drivers, though, pitting before the half-hour mark in our 1-hour race, though, doesn't give me a lot of confidence in a one-pit strat, though. We'll just have to wait and see what happens towards the end of the races here. So Rick James still within shouting distance of Chip Reese, trying to increase his gap to Tom the Tech, but Tom chipping away as much as he can to that 2.7 second gap, 2.6, 2.5, 2.4. Tom trying to find a little bit of pace there in the Flying Fox Mustang. He is starting to find it, 2.3, 2.2. Chip Priest not able to get that McLaren to pull away from him. Oh, Tom going wide though. Tom's second time skirting with disaster there. Is Kaz going to punish him for that one? Ooh, it doesn't look like it. Chip Reese. Ooh, it looks like Chip Reese going a little bit hard on the brakes there, going a little late, running a little wide through the bus stop. Oh, it's Chip Reese getting reset on the lobby there, running far too wide for the game even. We do have reset off, but you can push it too far through the game here, and it will reset you. Probably fortunate now is Tom starting to battle with Chip Reese. Tom just inching his way out front as he comes through Eau Rouge up Radion. Now Chip Reese going wide. Looks like he keeps it over the curbs though. Still sitting within the slipstream of Tom. Both drivers coming down the Kemmel straight now, 0.6 of a second separating them, so Chip still within slipstreams and within a fighting chance. P5 now. Both drivers heavy on the anchors come through the chicane now. Chip Reese dropping down into P6, getting a little bit late on the brakes there, coming up through the bus stop. Game resetting them probably did save him a little bit of time there, not losing too much pace. Tom the Tech, Tom moving up to P5 now, starting to mount a little bit of pressure, wanting to mount an attack against Rick James. Less than a second now separating the drivers. Still no sign of rain on the track. Tom really trying to push the Mustang as hard as he can here. 0.4 of a second now separating him and Rick James. Drivers come around Paul Ferrer on to Blanchimont now. Tom in slipstream range. Rick James going to have to defend as they come through Blanchimont. Tom having a peek along the outside, decides to try a dummy move back along the inside. Rick James sees it in the rear view, is going on the defensive. Rick James running a little bit wide though. Holds onto it, keeps it on the curbing. It's going to give him the inside line coming up through the bus stop here. Let's see if Tom's going to try to make a move along the outside. He is. And Tom, the clean move along the outside through the bus stop, making his way up into P4. Let's have another look at that move, everybody. You see here, perfect camera angle through the outside, keeps it clean. Rick James, unfortunately, has to yield and give him space coming up front there. And Tom making his way up into P4. But we've seen Rick James finding incredible pace in the Haltech Mercedes tonight. He's not going to give up P4 without a fight. His drivers come up to Eau Rouge now. Well done to you, Tom. Nice clean pass on the outside of the bus stop. All kinds of props coming from the crowd here. Well done to you. Let's check in with the leaders. P1 belongs to Giorfano. We've got VPR Marv sitting in P2. We've got Brooks in P3. Everybody in Spicy Beetles up front. What do you know? We got Tom the Tech down into P4, making that clean move passing Rick James. Rick James dropping down into P5. We got Chip Reese not far behind in P6. Jesse sitting down in P7. We got Ridge Raider in P8. Lucky Alpha sitting in P9. Lucky going a fresh set of medium tires. Very interesting strategy on his part. Lucky probably trying to go for a one-stop strategy here, hoping he can get a little bit of a cut on some of the other drivers throughout the rest of the race. A little bit over 26 minutes to go here. We got Ridge Raider, P8 in the Flying Fox McLaren. A little bit of time separating him and Jesse. So we got drivers starting to predict no rain here. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to concede defeat and agree with most of y'all. We did start with a wet track that dried out fairly quickly, unfortunately. The Chip Reese picking up a little bit of damage there. Let's see if we can see what happened to him here, unfortunately. Not able to see it there. Did pick up front end damage before we check back in with the replay. It's going to give Jesse easy opportunity to make his way around. Jesse picking up P6 now. Chip Reese dropping down into P7. Checking in with Rick James. Got Tom making a little bit of headway here. 3.4 seconds separating the drivers now. Tom, 18 seconds separating him and Brooks though. Brooks picking up medium tires, a little bit more fuel than Tom. Brooks also looked like picking up the one-stop strategy here. We will have to see if that pays dividends for him, though. He is losing quite a bit of time to Marv. 7 seconds separating him, but also 7 seconds separating him and Orfano. The Canadian still sitting out in front with his fellow countrymen sitting down in a P2. Brooks sitting at P3, Tom attacking P4. You got James P5. Healthy gap between him and Jesse. Jesse making his way up into P6 now after Chip Reese serves penalty, having his unfortunate off there on the last lap, it looked like. Ridge Raider sitting in a P8 and Lucky in a P9. Not gonna lie, chat, kind of disappointed we didn't see any rain here. Really hoping to shake things up around here. Still got 24 minutes to go in the race, though. Wouldn't be surprised if we did see a spotty shower here. Spotty shower even now. Ooh, we do have some windshield wiper action happening. Let's hop on board with him. Oh, look at that. We see some raindrops happening on track here. Starting to see them show up on the windshield wipers. Well, no worries, chat. As we see, we've got a little bit of rain starting to pop up now, it would seem. We got Ridge Raider with the wipers on. Lucky with the wipers. So it's looking like we got some rain starting to cover the track here. Brooks, no doubt, in bumper cam, unable to see the raindrops forming on his car. So we do hear the rain coming. We got drivers diving into the pits here to see what kind of tires they're going to pick up. Like I said, unfortunately, not able to see the weather radar. If these guys pick up wets or intermediates, that's going to give us an idea on just how much rain they can see on their weather radars. Rick James picking up intermediate tires. Tom staying out on the softs for now. Tom still sitting in P4. We got Brooks in P5. Marv sitting in P2. We got Orfano still sitting out in P1, though, losing a little bit of time to Marv. That 6.5 second gap now dropping down to just over 5 seconds. As we have just a little bit over 22 minutes left in this race here, ladies and gentlemen. Bono Racing with the follow. Appreciate you. Shout out to you. Welcome. Thank you for joining in. Orfano still losing a little bit of time. 4.6 seconds now separating him and Marv. Let's see if either of these drivers go ahead and decide to dive into the pits here. Doesn't look like. It looks like these drivers are going to go ahead and stay out on the soft tire. It's looking like we're just going to have that one little bit of rain here so far. Track still staying dry for now. The soft tire would be the right play. You got Brooks diving into the pits now. Brooks with fairly healthy medium tires and a good amount of fuel in the tank. Unsure what his play is going to be here. He's got Tom, though, coming through the bus stop now. Tom making his way up into P3. Is he going to get the undercut? He is. Tom making his way up into P3. Brooks still getting tires changed out, only just now coming into the pits. He's going to go ahead and top off his tank for the rest of this race, it looks like. I'm going to stay on board with him here. I'm curious what kind of tire he's picking up. See drivers picking up different strategies. Brooks opting for the soft tire. Doesn't look like they see any more rain on radar here. Rick James still sitting down in P5. He picked up the intermediate tire. It looks like Rick James is going to go ahead and go into the pits here. Probably not seeing any more rain on radar, so he's going to go ahead and get rid of the slow intermediate tires, pick up some softies for the rest of the race here. So, you know, a full tank of fuel. This should be a relatively quick pit stop for him. He does have a Chip Reese coming through the bus stop now. Also on the intermediate tires, no doubt going to dive into the pits, change those out. Same with Jesse. Intermediates have to go. Ridge Raider on the intermediates running a little bit wide there through Blanchimont. So bottom half of the grid here, opting for the intermediate tire out of safety. Looks like all of them are going to go ahead and dive into the pits and get rid of those slow boys. Pick up those grippy soft tires. Orfano finding a little bit of pace now. 5.5 seconds separating him and Marv. Marv down P2. Tom making his way up into P3 after Brooks dives into the pits, pick up a new set of soft tires. Brooks, the 15-second gap, has a little bit of work to do if he wants to catch up and get himself onto the podium here tonight. Either way, still sitting in great points right now. Rick James, P5, making his way through the field after his off earlier in the race. You got Chip Reese sitting in P6 with Jesse starting to put a little bit of pressure on him from behind now. Jesse in P7, we got Ridge Raider in P8, and Lucky down in P9. Lucky still in the pits getting rid of those intermediate tires. You know, Ridge Raider picking up half-second penalty. He is getting a blue flag from Orfano there. He's going to go ahead and take the line, get the flashers on, move off to the side, let Orfano go through. Very gentlemanly of both drivers there. As an admin, I love to see it. Well done to you two. Ridge Raider, unfortunately, picking up that half-second penalty. Still going to have plenty of time to him and Lucky, though. Lucky rounding out our grid in a P9 right now. Picking up a fresh set of racing soft tires. Checking in with the grid. Get the Canadians out in front. We've got Orfano in P1, followed by Marv in a P2. Unfortunately, back marker and Ridge Raider separating the two drivers. So Marv going to have to make his way around if he wants to try to mount an attack and pick up a little bit of pace here. See if he can have any chance for a P1 tonight. Got Brooks still down in P4. Brooks losing a lot of time to Tom there. Tom 16 seconds ahead of Brooks. Brooks running a 240 and a 234. Unfortunately, not seeing anything on a pit there, so having a little bit of a slow time through the laps there, it would look like. Rick James still sitting in P5. Chip Reese in a P6. Ooh, Chip going deep on the brakes again, going too wide. Jesse making his way up into P6 now, dropping Chip down into P7. Chip Reese. A little bit too heavy on the brakes there. Runs wide, not able to rejoin the track in time. Is going to have to concede that position back as we get a good look at the sponsored Sonic livery on the VPR 650S there. Let's go ahead and check back in with the live action now. Chip Reese coming up through Radion now. 2 seconds separating him and Jesse. We've got Rick James still sitting in P5. Quite a bit of a gap separating him and Brooks. Brooks holding on to a comfortable P4 for now. And Tom the Tech dropping down into P3. We've got Marv up in P2. We got Orfano leading this race for the majority of it out in P1 for now. We got Brooks still holding on to that fast lap with a 2:18.5. Driver's still pushing as hard as they can here. Doesn't look like we got any more indication of rain in the forecast. You can see the sky is starting to lighten up there just a little bit as well. Let's check in with Marv as he starts to make his way up a little bit closer there to Ridge Raider. Ridge Raider still has a healthy gap between him and Marv. Doesn't need to necessarily get out of his way just yet. No blue flag markers popping up for him as well, I don't believe. Oh, blue flag's still showing up. Very well through the corner. Oh no! Orfano! Orfano coming through. Not sure if Orfano spun, lag. What happened? Is Orfano still out in P1? Somebody clip it. Okay. Polyphony Digital is a small developer. They don't have that many people working on it. It's fine. Orfano lagging himself ahead, 7 seconds of Marv. Orfano P1, Marvin a P2 now. Tom making his way P3. We've got Brooks down in a P4. Rick James sitting in P5. Jesse making his way around. Chip Reese earlier sitting in P6. Chip making his way down to a 7. Excuse me, folks. We've got Chip Reese, P7 in the VPR McLaren Ridge Raider. P8, we've got Lucky down in a P9, rounding out the rest of our grid. Less than 14 minutes to go in this race. Orfano giving me a slight coronary there, thinking he had spun out leading the race, but still comfortably in the lead here ahead of Marv in P2, and Tom sitting in P3 for now. Unbeknownst to all of you, though, and I can see on screen Tom, fuel light screaming at him. And with Brooks only 20 seconds behind, not having to pit again for the rest of this race, that should be an easy cut for him to pick up a P3 and get himself here onto the podium tonight. With Rick James, the 56-second gap, though, he's not going to be able to get that undercut. But sitting in P5 is still a good points for this championship. We've got chat here talking about whatever even was that happened to Orfano here earlier. We will get with him in Discord, see if he had anything happen there throughout his race, or if our replay will show anything. That'll be an interesting thing to watch after the races here tonight, so stick around for that one, everybody. No change to the grid order so far as we watch Jesse come through the bus stop, get ready to start himself a fresh lap. We've got Orfano sitting out in P1, Marvin P2, we've got Tom Tech in P3, and Brooks sitting in a P4. Let's check in with Tom here. Tom coming through Obligement. absolutely no fuel left in this car. Tom's gonna have to dive into the pits here. And there he goes, Tom into the pits. Let's check in with Brooks. Brooks himself coming through Blojamon now. As long as he keeps it clean and doesn't run wide through the bus stop here, he should be able to get himself onto, well, not only podium, we've got Orfano now coming out of pits. We've got the Marv just now into the pits. Looks like he's picking up some fuel. Brooks getting an undercut on 2 drivers. Brooks taking a P2 with only 11 minutes left in this race. It is not over yet, though. We got Marv now coming out of the pits. Brooks carrying a little bit more speed there, though, as that delta starts to drop 1.5 seconds, dropping to 1 second. Brooks carrying a little bit more speed over Marv. Is still on the podium, though, as Tom still in the pits, hasn't come out yet. Rick James still too far behind. He's just now coming through, starting Blojamon on this lap. Now Tom 1 lap ahead. 14 seconds separating him and Brooks. Brooks finding a slipstream now, 0.2 of a second separating both the Spicy Beetles now. So Brooks gonna make his way. He's gonna make a move along the inside here. Not able to get up ahead of Marv in time. He's gonna have to concede back, stay right on the bumper of Marv there. Brooks running a little bit wide, hoping to pick up a little bit more and carry a little bit more speed. He's not able to. That gap now, half second separating both these drivers. They are running a little bit slower though. Brooks not letting Marv get away at all, sitting like an oil painting in his mirrors. Brooks in P3 right on the bumper of Marv. Both drivers get ready to come through double goes corners now. Brooks still sitting in P3. Marv is in P2. Marv, though, on medium tires. Brooks on a fairly fresh set of softs is going to have a little bit more pace here through the corners. Has a look along the inside. Oh, and Marv going a little bit wide there. Let's have a replay and see what happened as Brooks makes his way up into P2. Did we have any contact there as drivers come out of the double gauge? Oh, it looks like we might have had a little bit of contact there. We're going to go ahead and have one more look at that there from chase view. I don't think we're able to see it here. Brooks dropping back into P3, so no doubt we did have a little bit of contact there as drivers come out of the double gauge. Brooks being a gentlemanly and respectable driver, giving P2 back to Marv. Guys, can we get a shout out for Skirb in the chat for that? I absolutely love seeing the respectable driving. Marv, though, running a little bit wide through the hairpin. Brooks making an easy move up into P2. Marv getting a little bit squirrely on those medium tires. Going to drop him down into P3, but still sitting in a comfortable P3 for right now, because he's got a 14-second gap separating him and Tom the Tech. A little squirrely coming through Radion up onto the Kemmel Straight. Manages to hold on to it. Still within slipstream range of Brooks. Brooks giving the position back as it was dirtily taken, making a nice clean move along the inside through the hairpin. Brooks making his way up into P2, a little bit deeper onto the podium now. So we got Marv dropping down into P3. It's Orfano, though, unfortunately, picking himself up a half-second penalty. Not going to do much for the split between him and Brooks, but still going to have to serve that and drop lap time nonetheless. We'll have to wait for the next lap or two to fight for that fast lap here. Brooks still holding on to that fast lap with a 2:18.5. Great battle here going on between P2 and P3, and great sportsmanship between the both of them. Bravo to it. Let's go ahead and check in with the rest of the grid here. We got Tom the Tech dropping down into P4. He picked himself up a set of medium tires. Not going to have the same kind of pace that Brooks or Orfano has. Is still sitting in a comfortable P4 for right now. So you got Rick James dropping quite a bit of the delta, though. Set of soft tires on that Halsek Mercedes. He's sitting in P5. We got Jesse still in P6. More than enough fuel and tire to last for the rest of this race so far. We've got Chip Reese sitting in a P7. Lucky in P8. Refrigerator still rounding out our grid now, sitting in a P9. Folks, we're going to sit on board with Brooks here for just a few minutes. We will be right back. Less than 6 minutes to go in this race here. We've got Orfano sitting out in front in P1. The Canadian with a 13-second gap over Brooks. Brooks making clean move just a few laps ago to pick up P2 over Marv. Marv sitting in P3. We've got Tom Patek down in P4 right now. 13-second gap, only 5 minutes left. Probably going to be a comfortable P4 for him for this race. We've got Rick James sitting in P5. Jesse picking up a half-second penalty, unfortunately, but a comfortable P6 for him right now. Chippery sitting in P7, Lucky in P8, and Refrigerator still sitting down in P9 for right now. Is closing that gap on Lucky significantly, though. Soft tires really helping him out here. Lucky a little deep on the brakes there, a little slow through the bus stop. Does manage to get back on it though as he comes through. A little bit better exit out of the bus stop there. Refrigerator a little squirrely through the bus stop as well, it looks like. That 5.5-second gap dropping down to a 6-second gap, unfortunately. So those positions remain unchanged. Speaking of unchanged positions, no one changed since we last checked in. Orfano losing a little bit of time though to Brooks there. 16 seconds when we checked in a couple laps ago, now down to a 13-second. And still dropping yet, so Brooks finding some good pace in his Spicy Beetle around the Spa tonight. You got Marv still sitting in a P3. Medium tires not doing him any favors here, losing a little bit of time and distance to Brooks there, but still sitting on the podium. He's going to get himself some good points tonight as long as he holds on to it for the next 4 minutes. Which is all we have left in this race, everybody. Tom sitting in a P4. Rick James sitting in a P5 for right now. Orfano still holding on to that gap over Brooks right now, dwindling just a little bit. With only 3.5 minutes left in this race, should be no problem for him to go ahead and finish out on top with this one tonight. He still does have some time to try to take the fast lap away from Brooks, but a 2:18.5. That's quite the quick lap there. Orfano sitting out in P1. We've got Brooks making his way up into P2 through the field tonight, and Marv sitting in a P3. As long as these drivers don't have any issues or any major offs throughout the rest of this race, we should be looking at our podium sitters here tonight. And Tom Patek still sitting down in P4 for right now. Healthy gap, though, between him and Rick James. Rick James charging through the field earlier. Unfortunate pit with the inters, losing him some time, though. We can predict just about anything we want to in this game, except the weather. We got Jesse in P6 for right now. Victory paces Chip Reese and Lucky sitting in P7 and P8 respectively. And we've got Refrigerator still sitting down in a P9. Trying to run that fuel down to the last drop. 12, 13 second gap still separating the two drivers here. Brooks still sitting in that comfortable P2 for right now. And Marv still sitting in a P3. Tom losing a little bit of time there. 14 second gap dropping down to a 27 second gap. Rick James no doubt loves to see that delta drop between him and Tom. Not sure we're going to have enough time for him to be able to capitalize anything though, unless Tom has himself another major off. But Rick James still sitting down in a P5. Jesse still in P6. Chip Reese in P7. Lucky in P8 and Ridge in a P9. So Brooks increasing his gap over Marv now, 7 seconds separating him and a P3. Less than 1 minute to go in this race. We should see most drivers on their final lap now. Orfano may have one more in him here. But that's only if he's going to cross the line before the timer ends. Orfano still sitting down in P1. We've got Brooks P2, Marv in P3. We've got potential podium drivers here, everybody. So we've got Victory Pace members in the chat rooting on their own drivers. Friends of Brooks rooting him on for his podium win here tonight. Brooks keeping it clean through Blogement. Timer's up, race is over. Orfano bringing home the victory tonight, round 4 of the Sigma GT Challenge. Well done to him. Brooks putting on an absolute charge through the field with great strategy. He's going to come home with a P2. Well done to him. Victory Pace Racing's Marv coming home in P3. Congratulations to him as he crosses the line. And Tom the Tech coming through at Blogement now. Up to the final chicane, he should bring home P4. Tom the Tech coming through the bus stop now, eating a little bit of sausage. A little bit of Drifty Boy coming through the final corner there. Holds on to the car. He's going to go ahead and take home P4. A little bit of swagger across the line there. Got Rick James coming through at Blogement now. He's going to go ahead and finish in a P5. Rick James dropping down to the bottom of the field earlier after his off, earlier in the race. Manages to pick up several positions. He's going to finish in a P5, pick himself up some good points here tonight. We've got Jesse, Lucky, Chip Reese, and Ridge. 6, 7, 8, and 9 respectively for them. Rick James getting some love in the chat as well. Amateur drivers putting on a great show for everybody here tonight. Let's get some W emotes in the chat for the AM drivers, everybody. Congratulations to them. Let's not forget here, guys. These races are sponsored by Six Sigma Sim Racing. These guys are putting out some fantastic prizes here for everyone. Help if I actually do it right. Go ahead and check out the link there below. Check out Six Sigma Sim Racing. Super baller prices. Aluminum extrusion rigs, any accessory you can want. Wheelbases, pedals, chairs, gloves. They got it all. Have a look down at the link below. Get yourself into sim racing. Don't sell a kidney for it. Chip Reese crossing the line here at P8. Ridge Raider's going to go ahead and finish the race now in a P9. Ridge Raider out of fuel. Trying to push that strategy. Not able to pay off for him. It's Ridge Raider going for a little Sunday drive here through Blogement now. He's going to go ahead and round out our grid. Finish in a P9. All right, everybody, congratulations to Giorfano taking home the victory here tonight. Let's go ahead and let's have a look at the leaderboard, guys. We got Brooks coming in P2, Marv in P3, Flying Fox Racing's Tom coming in P4. We got Rick James in the Haltech Mercedes in P5, Jesse coming home in P6. We got Lucky in the Mazda Concept coming in P7, Chip Reese, DPR McLaren in P8. And Ridge Raider rounding out our grid in P9. All drivers finishing in the points tonight. Congratulations to everybody there. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break, save the replay, reset the lobby, get everybody ready for the Pro-Am lobby. We're going to get that one starting here in about the next few minutes, so don't go anywhere. You stay tuned.